Hello, I'm coming to you from outside. I thought I would actually try filming earlier in the day so that it's not swelteringly hot. Although I think today we're only supposed to get to 25, so a lot more manageable. um, yeah, there's just a few things that I thought I would pick out and tell you about. Maybe I'll just sort of do a quick drive-by. So this is our kale bed. We've got two different types of kale. This is the chard, which is looking really good. Courgettes are still going absolutely wild, even with not having as much rain as they probably would like. They're doing amazing. I need to come in and harvest. We haven't harvested in a few days, and so we've got some chunky ones. This is carrot bed. This one recently flipped, so this was cauliflower, now it's swede, parsley, spring onions. This one we've just cleared, so this was a lettuce bed. This is going to become leeks, but it's this bed that I wanted to show you. I feel like in the last couple of videos I've talked a lot about our sort of experiments with interplanting, and they don't always go well. This one, I would say, is going pretty well. So the main crop, I suppose you kind of always choose like who gets priority, who are you really trying to cultivate, is the Brussels sprouts. One slight sad thing so far is we didn't cover, and therefore we've got quite a lot of caterpillars. But a lot of the plants are still going, so hopefully we can kind of just help them to cope with this. So there are 2 rows of Brussels sprouts, and then down the centre line is a row of carrots, and then in between each Brussels sprout plant there is a celery plant. Let's try and get in there. So yeah, it seems like these 3 are doing really well together. We're kind of at the stage where we're ready now to harvest the carrots. So that was always the plan, so the carrots would come out first. I don't know whether I'll be able to find one for you. They're obviously not, they're not all huge. So let's see what we can find. I mean, that's not too bad, is it? A little bit of forking, but there's still a decent amount of carrot there. So yeah, we're going to pull out those carrots, and then that will then give everybody a little bit more space. We're also going to come along and sort of tidy up and just support the Brussels sprouts before they start falling over. So yeah, feel like that one has gone really, really well. If we hadn't have done the row of carrots, I mean, most people would have just had the Brussels sprout plants, but you can just imagine how much bare soil that would have had. So if we head down to the other block, so yeah, maybe for a bit of context, so we're currently cultivating about 1/10 of an acre. So if I'm here, I'm kind of in the middle, so there's sort of 8 beds this side, and then there's 2 sets of 4 beds in the tunnel there, and then we've just looked at the 8 beds here. We are sneakily starting to create the next block over there with overwintering carrots. But yeah, that's kind of the next expansion. Winter squash doing amazing, but what I want to do is come over to show you some other carrots. So this bed here was our sugar snap pea bed. We got a few weeks of harvest out of that, and now we're just waiting. We're collecting some for seed. So the plan had us, we sowed 2 rows of peas, 2 rows of mange tout down the centre, and then we sowed a row either side, 1 row either side of carrots. Now what we hadn't realised when we'd put this in the plan is that this bed is sandwiched between the tunnel on this side and the Wazontle, which we'd never grown before and didn't quite know how big it was going to get. What we hadn't realised is how much shade and how much kind of closed in this bed was actually going to be. Potentially, if we'd have put this bed somewhere out in the open, then the carrots would have got a lot more light. But yeah, what's happened is that the carrots are there and trying, but they're nowhere near as good. We've got a lot of much smaller things like that. There is the odd one, like that looks promising. Let's see. Oh wow. That one's had a bit of a nibble. Yeah. So there is some. So we will pick these this week. We're about to put lettuce in this bed, so we need to clear it anyway. Yeah, but it might be that we don't get quite as much of a harvest as we will over in the sprouts bed. But yeah, we're we're so excited to have carrots. It's kind of one of those crops that when we grew it before, we were able to basically do carrots in every week, every box, and it was kind of one of those favourites. We would hear a lot of stories from customers about kind of kids who would get really excited when the box would be delivered, and just go straight in and just eat the carrots. There's so much more flavour in kind of the way that we grow compared to the carrots you'd get in the supermarket. So we're really excited to be bringing those this week, and hopefully, yeah, maybe the next 2 weeks, and then otherwise we'll have to wait a couple of months because we didn't prioritise carrots for every week this year, but we'll have plenty over winter. Right, I think I should probably crack on. I hope you found that interesting, and yeah, hope you enjoy your veg this week. I forgot to show you the Barlotti beans. So yeah, we're growing just one row of Barlotti beans this year. We wanted to start doing some experiments with growing more stuff for effectively storage for winter, so that you can kind of effectively, keep eating more stuff, more variety, I suppose. And also, if we could get more of the kind of like pulses side of the diet, as well as the veg, then yeah, well, it'd just be great to get more, more of the diet from the farm, from the land, from the adjacent farms. So these Barlotti beans, they're so spectacular in terms of the colour. We're actually decided to pick around this week, as sort of, they're not fresh, so you can't just eat them raw. But it's called demi-sec. So it's kind of, it started to kind of turn into the kind of more of a bean, like a sort of like a pulsy bean. So the sort of the inside is now white rather than green, but it's not properly dried out, so you don't need to pre-soak these beans to then cook them as beans. We've just done an experiment now. So pod them. So don't eat the outside. It's too mature for that. Pod it, and we've just boiled it in salty water. We threw in some herbs as well into the water, and half an hour is what it took. So yeah, we would recommend boiling it first, like you would with kind of any dried bean, and then we're going to throw it in a sort of a tomato-based sauce, I think, with some of the peppers, Yeah, so it's just a little experiment. So yeah, I hope you enjoy them.